Welcome to Devin, Dane, Dunwoody. This is a podcast about weird nerd stuff. Mostly it's like walking into a comic shop that's run by people who used to work in a comic shop. And we're using our experience maybe from a comic shop to talk about comic shop stuff. But it's not a comic shop. I'm Lance.
I'm Devin.
I'm Eric.
And we're here to talk about stuff. I guess today's going to be intro day, so we're going to talk about ourselves, ask a few questions, and maybe you can suss out what our personalities are based on what we say and what kind of questions we have.
Yeah, just a nice little Q&A, and we get to know a little bit about each other again, and you guys get to know us.
And then you can comment about you, and we might read it if you're lucky.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification below.
Yeah, probably it's going to be on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey! Good call! Good call!
Then seriously, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that. And then seriously, if you don't hit that bell notification, you will never know when we get videos out because YouTube is terrible on that end. Okay.
Devin, you said you had some good intro questions. Otherwise, I'm going to throw mine out there right now.
Why don't we do yours first?
Go ahead, buddy.
All right. So here's my first question. What was the first comic book you sold?
First comic book I sold. Let's feel shaky first.
Oh, man. What is the first comic book? Okay, now, is this first comic book I sold as an individual working in a comic shop?
No, just in general. I mean, like,
in general.
You have experience.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. First comic book I ever sold would have been, I'm not 100% sure on this, okay, but it would have been eBay sale. Oh, I know what the first real comic book I ever sold was. Technically, it was a trade, okay, but it was went down to Mile High Comics in 2000 with a whole bunch of trade goods, and one of them was a 1948 Firestone promotional comic, so Firestone tires, that featured Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, and like Goofy, I think. It was like a several $100 comic book that they gave us in trade for it. So I think that was like my first comic that I can recall making a sale or trade with. So I had to kind of bend the rules there a little bit.
Mine was some kind of a collection book. Not necessarily an omnibus, but it was like one of those what's in the world things for DC, and I don't remember. It was a special order because we didn't necessarily get into the comic book portion because we were still a startup, so we did special order omnibuses and stuff like that. So that was the first thing I sold.
First one I sold, it was during the Civil War event, and I sold a Fantastic Four Civil War crossover. I got my job the day before, and then someone who was an instructor at the school bought Fantastic Four comic books. And that's when I found out, like, he was into comic. He wasn't just into, like, playing Magic the Gathering. He was also into comic books. It was on that same day.
For my own morbid curiosity, was it? Okay. Yep. Gotcha.
But like, he bought legit, like, OG comics.
Yeah, okay.
Like, he bought some Marvel stuff and some DC stuff, but it was more for, like, tradesies or personal value. Like, was a legit, like, subscriber, like, or I would say, like, what I was for a time, or Devin and...
Yeah.
Where, like, they, you know, you knew what you were going to pull for their boxes and all that kind of stuff. And that was the first person where, like, the first person I ruined to pull was for,
That's funny.
Because he was, like, he was angry that we were out of World War Hulk.
Yeah.
And I was...
Who was it again?
Not Ryan Seacrest.
No. Yeah. I was...
Yeah.
So we know I'm the guy who got the...
Oh, no.
Oh,
he dropped a pretty penny. Like, once he emptied it out.
He yelled at me for a half hour.
No, that's not good.
He yelled at me for a half hour because I couldn't control the fact that Civil War #1 had been out of print for weeks. He's like, why don't you get it? Other people are getting the reprints. I was like, we're a tiny little shop. I was like, they pull based off of orders, and we are not high enough on the order list to get reprints.
Always bottom of the...
How many issues of Captain America 25 did he buy when he knew, like...
Oh, yeah.
He bought... That was his whole order. It was his whole order that... I mean, he bought the regular stuff, but basically, like, he filled out Captain America 25 and it, like, sold out immediately. Like, he made a penny off of it.
Well, once he found out the rumors, he was just like, max it. Max order. If you can give me extra ones, give them all. Give them all.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple things that I had to do the same thing for when we were buying Magic. I had to make sure that I was getting, like, max order on like 2 different places, because I would get max order through Wizards and through any other distributor we could get max orders through. I was just like, gimme. give me all that goodness.
Mhm.
I'm going to keep at least 4 boxes, so I'm going to need another 25 boxes to try and sell. Bare min.
Well, it's like when they came out with Wizard's Master Edition or whatever. That
So I'm gonna pull like a reverse Family Feud with like, good answer. I'm like, good question. Good question. No, that was a good question. I like that question. That was fun, man.
I thought you were going to try and turn it and say,
Bad
what
question.
was the first comic you bought?
Oh,
so,
interesting,
yeah,
interesting.
That I know for
I
absolute
know
fact.
absolute fact.
First comic you bought. That's just a good random bonus question.
Yeah.
Mine was actually. You guys go ahead. I want to make sure I say the exact correct one because I know exactly what it was, but I can't remember what number it was.
It was a second-hand issue of a Web of Spider-Man comic. I want to say it's like 72 or something like that. It's the one where the chameleon replaces J. Jonah Jameson, and it's after a couple of werewolves kill everyone in the Kingpin complex, and he's worried about like whether or not the chameleon's going to print off a bad story about him or something. It's really dumb.
That sounds riveting, bud.
I liked it because it had werewolves, and I was like, oh, there's gonna be werewolves. It's like, oh, I missed the werewolf one was the last one.
I just missed it.
And then like that was the first one I bought, and that was the only comic I had for a long time. And then like the first one I got from my parents was the Death of Superman. There was a special issue where it was Superman goes to the underworld to get Pot Can.
Oh, yep, that was, no, he doesn't go, it was, the Afterlife.
Yeah.
Pulled him up, yep. That was, right during the reign of the Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, man.
That was the second one I got was that one.
It's a great issue.
It's a good issue.
I don't even remember what my first comic was. I know it was probably DC. I'm almost for sure it was DC. Could have been Justice League or a Green Lantern run. I can't remember for sure. Because when you started working at the shop is when I first got into comics, and started buying comics. So...
You had a good pull list, man.
Yeah.
Just come in and fill her out.
Yep. I definitely had more comics than I could read. I still have all those comics, too.
Oh, mine all got ruined by black mold.
Oh, that's depressing.
That's so depressing. I mean, it's such a good story. Okay, so I had to look it up to be sure, because this was actually the second part in a 2-part storyline, and so I wanted to make sure I said the right number. Okay, my first comic book, and I have the picture drawn up here, and just so we're right off the bat, you guys can look this up online too, but I always rip on Jim Lee, but this is such a Jim Lee-esque cover. Anyway, was Superboy Annual Volume 4, Number 1. So this is the Superboy that came about from the reign of the Superman storyline in the 1990s. And it's an Elseworld story where aliens come to Earth and take over Earth and kill off all the superheroes and stuff. And it's their last stand. So, Flash has a broken leg and Metallo has been taken over. And they put Lex Luthor's brain into Metallo, so he's Metal Lex. And it's I don't know, I loved it because it was edgy and long-haired Superboy, and it was really fun. That was my very first comic I ever got. And then later on, I got that actually from the Owls Spy Store here in the 1990s, which is where Walgreens is now located.
Right.
But it used to be an old Owls or Spies or something like that. I forget what that was called. Is it Owls?
I think it was Spies.
Red Owl.
Was it Red Owl?
Yeah, they're the ones that had the Red Owl or
Red
Spies
Owl.
or whatever. Yeah, so it might have even been one of those joint ventures. Anyway, but yeah, and then the second comic I ever got was what was that old Nickelodeon show with the vampire duck that was vegetarian?
That was Duckula.
Okay, it was a Duckula / Danger Mouse comic book. So
interesting.
Alright, so there we go. That was a good bonus question. So who's up next?
Why don't we just go into mine, because one of my questions was, what is your favorite comic?
Okay, thanks.
My favorite comic?
And it can be comic series or whatever, too. It doesn't have to be one specific comic.
I think what's going on right now, as far as stuff I had been reading, was I like a lot of Gwenpool. They did cool Spider-Man crossover stuff. Because Spider-Man stuff lately is it's been okay, but it hasn't been great. And part of it's because I'm 80s, 90s Spider-Man's been my thing, and the 2000 stuff just was I wasn't a big fan of it.
Yeah. Kind of retelling of the 90s stuff anyway, I think is kind of what we're getting into comics now.
Yeah.
Mine is, there's a lot of them, obviously. I mean,
right.
But it's a toss-up between two different books. For me, Superman's my guy. So Death of Superman, one of my favorite stories ever told. Also, though, slightly edging it out is Action Comics number 775, called, I just had it up on my phone here, What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is there's a group of these 5 bad guy superhero type dudes, like anti-heroes, who have no problem killing.
Mm-hmm.
And so they kind of make Superman, the whole point in this comic is it addresses, like, the Superman's just a glorified Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
And in this comic, he broadcasts to the world exactly how he could do. So Superman's having trouble fighting these guys one-on-one, and he challenges them to, like, a fight up on the moon or something, and he kills all of them. And, spoilers, sorry, it's, at this point, it's been turned into a film, and I mean, it's one of the animated films, so
it's not really a spoiler, though.
Yeah. He doesn't actually kill the people, but he could have. He's like, I can do this to everyone if I wanted to.
Right.
But I don't want to because I was raised better.
Yeah.
And the
like,
reason he takes him out is a little bit of a power struggle, and it leads to a long storyline where a lot of people, and this is actually what kind of starts leading up to the OMAC project and other things, so...
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Is it still recording?
Yeah, it was a play on what was happening in the 90s with, like, the extreme comics where it's like everything's influenced by Rob Liefeld now, so this is what everyone's doing. And a lot of comic artists were, like, tired of having to go up to that standard when, like, things were different before. Things were more...
Yeah.
Superheroes were heroes and not, like, we weren't questioning what a fictional person was doing with his or her life. And now it got to a point where it's like, well, we should be questioning our heroes for X reason or Y reason or Z reason, and then you're like, okay, well, we're questioning real life heroes, that's fine, but why are we wondering what Superman's doing? And there was actually a really good issue of Hitman that kind of did the same thing, where Hitman's about to, like, kill someone, and he's kind of, like, contemplating it, and Superman flies down, and he has, like, a conversation with Superman, and as Superman flies away, he, like, does this hit. But, like, Superman has this big, long talk with Hitman about how, like, things are different and how, like, we need to look out for people. And he totally agrees with him. He agrees with Superman's point of view. But at the same time, like, he lives in a different world than what Superman lives in, where Superman's like, oh, I can save people because I'm Superman. And he's like, well, I'm not Superman, so I can't do those things.
And now, for whatever reason, everything has to be dark and edgy.
Yeah.
That's what society is now. We're back on that. So.
Well, an intriguing thing to draw people into, and part of it is because it was, like, successful for one thing, and so it's hard to, like, try to forge your own path when you see that someone else is doing something that's making them money. It's like no one wanted to make an R-rated superhero movie until Deadpool came out. Yeah. I mean, they made Blade, and that was R-rated, but everyone forgets about Blade.
Yeah. Or The Crow.
Again, like, when The Crow came out, that changed everything anyway. Like, everyone was The Crow. Like, Sting became the Crow. Like,
really, really did too.
Everything, like, after the Crow came out for a good 10 years, everything. That South Park episode, that South Park
episode nails it. We're like, and nobody ever show up as the Crow. That was literally my entire high school era. There were always 3 Crows, always. And my buddy that I had down in New Mexico was always the Crow. Every year, I was like, I hate you so much, you emo bastards.
Everyone's the Crow.
Devin.
My favorite is, hands down, without a doubt, Kingdom Come.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Is my favorite. Hasn't been topped yet.
That was the one with Magog, right?
Yeah.
God, that's such a good one.
But that was a play on that too, where it's like Alex Ross was doing the art, and then they were kind of making that commentary. Magog was that Liefeld commentary. It's like, oh, everything's tough now. Everyone dies. And it's like, well,
I liked the idea of a man who had a grudge against Superman so bad. He bent the universe to his will just to prove a point to Superman. Like, god damn, dude.
Well, and the thing is, like, there's other factors in that universe that are, like, leading up to that end point, too. Like, all the villains are getting together. You know, like, Lex Luthor mind controls Captain Marvel and just becomes, like, this whole... There's all these pathways that are leading up to that. It's just... It meets at that one point.
Magog had one of my favorite character designs in DC. And I love that, like, they've hinted at Magog on and off in the current timeline.
He's very much like a post-Cable character, though. He's got, like, a metal arm, one glowing eye, metal arm.
Come on, man, don't take that from me.
No, it's not a take.
I know, but I hate
You fucking
Cable.
ruined it.
Oh, I ruined
You ruined it. You ruined it.
Cable's cool.
Somewhere out there, somebody slams their hand on their desk. That guy gets it.
Yeah, no.
Josh Brolin's cool. Cable's cool. What do you want?
Yeah, Josh Brolin. Hey, there you go. There's Magog right there.
See?
Yeah.
He's already Thanos. He's already Cable. He can be Magog.
And Superman.
Oh my god, that's right. He's Thanos too. It's
Thanos and Cable.
Too much.
Shut up. Johnny Storm is Captain America.
That's true.
I know. That's so great. It's so bizarre. Oh my god, that is. Dude,
Johnny Storm is Captain America. You cowards.
He was the very first one to get 2 Marvel roles.
Yeah. Hal Jordan is Deadpool.
So
yeah, that's true. Well, the funny thing is, though, those are Ryan Reynolds' 2 favorite comic book characters.
Sure.
You know, Green Lantern and
best
Deadpool.
end credit scene
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Let's see here. Script for Green Lantern.
Boom!
This is going to be the highlight of my career.
Poor
I mean, and it's not like Green Lantern was even... I mean, I'm biased. Green Lantern is my favorite. I mean, Alan Scott is my favorite of the Green Lanterns, but the Green Lantern runs are usually
I like people who have permanent neck braces on. They're my favorite too.
I like Kylie.
That was like for a year. It's fine.
Why is there
I'm
no
gonna
love?
kick you right in the jaw.
Okay, am I the only one in history who has love for Kyle Rayner?
No, I like Kyle
I
Rayner
like him.
too.
I liked him better as Ion.
Yeah.
See, I never got to read too much of the Ion storyline.
Ion was great because then they're like, okay,
Is that
who's
where
the-
he was like got better and went off on his own?
he had all the powers. Like the Green Lantern Corps had been dismantled, and he had all the power of the Green Lantern Corps.
Okay.
They were like, "Who's the Cinnabon, unhurt, most innocent person in the universe Green Lantern ever? Let's get this little puppy dog boy Green Lantern, and we'll give him all the power because he's not going to do anything with it."
Yeah, you can't give that to Guy Gardner.
Don't give it to Hal Jordan. They gave it to Hal Jordan.
Exactly.
Guy Gardner, you ain't nothing without your superpowers. Bam!
Guy Gardner would literally punch Batman into oblivion and be like, "That's how we do it in my house."
How'd you get that black eye, Guy Gardner?
And you can't give it to Jon Stewart because
You should leave that part in. Long blinks. Okay, so I guess my turn to ask a question, right?
Yeah, go for it.
I feel bad now because mine doesn't flow well. But,
throw it out there, baby.
So I wanted to I'm asking real questions here to get to know you guys. These are questions I don't think I've ever actually asked you guys.
Oh,
So,
all right, shoot.
best decade or era? Doesn't necessarily have to be any time. I don't care if you go back to like 1 BC was the best damn year there ever was.
It was right before he was born. No, that's not what that means anymore.
So best decade or era for you?
Honestly, I still think the best like decade or era is like that time between the late 70s and the early 90s. I know most of it's nostalgia, but there were a lot of like they took a lot of like old things. They took things that were nostalgic for someone else and they converted it to something else that was still new. That was when you had like anime explosion in America. That's when comic books were like becoming like more experimental. And there was like this weird, it's when like Alan Moore is writing like these weird stories where you're like deconstructing what a superhero is. That's when movies were combining computer graphics, realistic effects, and actual acting all at the same time. Where you have
Lawnmower
like,
Man, best movie ever.
Lawnmower Man's really good, but it's a good movie on its own merit, but I mean like not... Anyway, not from the standpoint of like converting a script into a movie. If you forget that it's a Stephen King script, it's fine. Because it's got its own dumb logic. Anyway, that's when they have like movies like Inner Space, which is a dumb Disney movie where like they take Incredible Journey and then they go, hey, can you make a realistic effect where there's midgets fighting in the backseat of a car? And it's like, yeah, I can do that. Okay, now make a large car set so we have real actors who are fighting and sync that up with the midgets fighting in the backseat of your weird car. Okay, cool. I guess that's fine. And then we're going to CGI a bunch of weird stuff. Also, someone dies in that Disney movie, and that's weird. So that guy melts in his dumb stomach acid. Martin Short killed someone. So, and then it's got Meg Ryan.
But he burped.
Yeah, he burped him out. Meg Ryan, Martin Short, and Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid's like a weird hunk and not some like old man dad guy. Like,
what movie is this?
Inner Space.
I don't think I've ever watched this.
You need to watch
this.
Dennis Quaid gets shrunk down and injected into a dude so he can like map the insides of the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Disney movie.
Huh.
It's a weird, overly sexual.
I need to rewatch this because I don't
Disney
remember
movie.
any of this.
There's a guy who puts a cigar out in his hand multiple times in the movie. It's weird. It's so weird, but somehow I think it's technically Buena Vista, but it doesn't matter. It's still owned by Disney.
Best era,
Yeah.
But
70s to
80s,
90s?
late, like mid to late 70s to mid to early 90s, just because at that point I feel like they ran out of new material and they're like, what can we do with this crap? And they just regurgitated it into like they puked out gold. And that's the only time I've ever, like, I can go back and be like, oh, wow, you puked gold. You just have to, like, spin your own from yarn. Wow, good job.
I'm going to have to agree. I mean, because that's when Star Wars came out. And Star Wars is my favorite. And Jurassic Park. I like Jurassic Park 2. As in also.
Jurassic Park 2 came out in the late 90s?
Yeah,
not the early 90s.
That's why I said 2 as in also, not Jurassic Park 2.
I couldn't tell.
I hate you. You do it all the time.
I feel really dumb now. My answer is going to sound so dumb.
Go for it, man.
Okay, so my favorite era ever was near the end of the classic, like, Roman, Greek Empire, and Egyptian period. So when you had Julius Caesar, Alexander, and Cleopatra just all chilling, because to me that seems bizarre. People who physically, thousands of years ago shaped everything we still do. Like, we still have months named after these people and stuff, and like, it's just, I don't know, it's bizarre. You know what they should do? They should make a movie about these people, Lance.
Another stinker.
No, don't.
No, we had I had English class where we had to study. See, now you remember.
Okay.
No, we had English class, and there's this kid. He was a great kid. I'm not going to say his name. Great kid. We read. What was the play?
Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar. He normally would never have gotten into a book, let alone a whole play, and he loved this thing. He devoured it. He finishes that thing, slams that book shut, and goes, "They need to make this a movie." And everybody's like, "We're literally watching the movie in like a week." He's like, "Could you imagine if these were real people?" And I had permission from the teacher to stand up, and I just started swearing at him. And I mean swearing so hardcore. When it was done, she's like, "You need to go to the office now." I was like, "All right."
Good.
But it just... For me, okay, I'll be honest, I love best decade, 1980s. Screw it. Nostalgia, screw it.
Sure.
Great movies.
I'm calling nostalgia.
Great, just everything about 80s was great. Almost everything I do is influenced by the 80s.
Sure.
But for me personally, I think one of the most influential moments in history was you had 3 of the most powerful beings on the damn planet just chilling.
Right.
Together at the same time and conspiring to keep their nations alive and trying to keep the whole world, like the civilized world, from collapsing. And we know how that turned out. Everything collapsed and it went bad quick.
Oh, I was going to say, everything's fine.
Everything's fine now, yeah.
Yeah.
No politics! Go ahead. Sorry. I think we're back to
Lance's question.
Okay, so I'm kind of on the comics. This is my last comics question, I promise. What is the most expensive comic book that you bought or owned?
Mine are all cheap because I had no money ever.
Bullshit. You bought that Green Lantern from me for like $50 back in the day.
Mosaic, that's right. I forgot about that.
You bought it was the first appearance of Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, don't say you didn't buy anything good. That was a great classic.
Because I don't remember how many in the Mosaic line, but I think they were like $30 or something, and I completely forgot about the first appearance of Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at
with him
my
standing
comics.
over Jon Stewart. Was it Jon Stewart in that one?
No,
I think it was Hal.
Was it Hal? Okay.
I'm the real, yeah.
Yeah, I'm mixing up my comics because I had the first Hal Stewart for a while too.
Well,
am I saying the right name? Yeah.
Hal and Stewart? Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
Jon Stewart.
There we go. Get see.
Hal Stewart.
Hal Stewart. They made a beautiful little baby.
One's a black ex-military guy who's also a Jewish comedian.
Yeah. What?
Slash.
Oh, Jon Stewart. I got you.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to add to it by saying Architect 2. I didn't realize you were going in that direction with it. Way over the head.
There are people at home who hate us. They're like, I can't
Probably.
keep track of this podcast. No,
we're getting to know each other in this first one, so it doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
Now I get a kind of a cheat in this because of 2 reasons. Not only have I worked at a comic shop, I have owned my own comic shop for 7 years. I don't own it anymore, but I ran a pretty decent comic shop. Well, to me it was pretty decent, but it wasn't a small comic shop.
It's decent for where we live.
Yeah, I mean, we had, I had 100,000 books in stock and stuff, so, we got good issues in. And also, I am a high-end collector, so I shouldn't say high-end. I'm a mid-range collector. So dropping $500 to $1,000 on an item back in the day when I had a better collecting budget didn't really mean. I mean, I didn't have many other bills, so I could drop $1,000 on an item if I want to, and that's not money brag, look at me type thing. It's just that was some people buy sporting goods, go out hobbying. I would save up money for a few months and buy something big. I have two that fall exactly in line with each other. Well, not even that. Okay, I have sold a X-Men 94, which was a part of a 2-part set, giant size X-Men 94. Reintroduced the X-Men as we know them today. Probably one of the top 10 most sought after key issues, period. I've sold a pretty decent copy of that for several $100s. I have sold through a auction company out in New York a Action Comics number 10. Or no, not Action. It was Superman number 10. Oh. Superman number 10, first bald Lex Luthor. I got like 5 or 600, I want to say like $500 for that. I have sold, it was a Green Lantern book, and it was the first Green Lantern Green Arrow when they combined the two.
Yeah, Brave and the Bold.
It wasn't Brave and the Bold. It was when they combined the two series.
It was Green Lantern Green Arrow.
And it's where Green Arrow shoots his arrow through his power charger. It's like that. It's when Neil Adams started that run, and I had a really mint copy of that. I sold for like $700 or $800, and then I've also sold first appearance of Thanos signed by Stan Lee, and I think I got like $700 or $800 for that. So I've sold several books within the $500 to $800 range. So.
Sold or bought? We're
sold.
talking about bought.
I have. Well, he said sold too, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
but bought. I paid. That Superman number 10, I dropped $500 in cash in 5 minutes. I didn't even need to think about that. I'm a Superman fan. I've never owned that issue before, so yeah.
Fair enough.
And then I've also spent $300 or $400. I mean, you want to go big, but a single book. I mean, I've spent $3,000 on buying books before, $3,000 to $4,000 before. So again, small shop, but you know, so I get kind of a cheapy buy off of that one, Lance.
I'd gotten like the first run of Civil War when it came out. I got the first run of Kick-Ass when it came out. I had a few things that were worth, I think, that about $30 range where like it bumps up a little bit, like that Captain America issue. I didn't really have anything until I had like that Batman 227 that I bought from your shop.
Yeah, again, Neil Adams. He's like, dropping all over the place.
It's a really good cover.
What'd you end up spending on? That was $3 or $4.
It was $350, but it's worth more now, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's that gorgeous castle cover.
Yeah.
It was an early Ra's al Ghul story.
No,
that was pre-Ra's al Ghul.
It was pre-Ra's. It was just
No, that's the issue where it became pretty much the.
Yeah.
That's where Neil Adams established the Dark Knight.
That's where they decided that was going to be a gothic mystery.
Yeah, and they pulled away from the 60s campiness.
Yeah, it wasn't campy, it wasn't goofy anymore.
And that's why I think they also started establishing like a better storytelling method.
They changed up how the mysteries work, and so it became more of like this Agatha Christie style, like building a suspense kind of mystery instead of like they lay out clues and the kiddies try to solve it. Because before it was like it's Detective Comics because it's Encyclopedia Brown, and now it's Detective Comics because this is a noir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Noir is a great choice. Devin, I think you're up, buddy.
Oh, is it my question?
Mm-hmm.
It is my question. Favorite anime or manga, since we're kind of on the topic of comics?
I think my favorite manga is still Berserk. It's continually ongoing, and it's continually on hiatus, but it's got some of the best visuals, and everything steals from it, so, I mean, what are you going to do? My favorite anime, stereotypical, but it's Cowboy Bebop, just because it's good.
It's good. It's well done.
It's Watanabe. What do you want?
Yeah.
Anybody who says Cowboy Bebop is dumb, go Firefly. They'll be like, "Fuck yeah!" I'd like get the fuck out of here. Same thing. Not only the exact same thing. When I was first shown Firefly, I got 2 episodes in, and I was like, "This is just Cowboy Bebop." And my friend's like, "The fuck are you talking about?" I said, "This is Cowboy Bebop live action. This is exactly the same thing."
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They're very they have a lot of the same beats. The difference is Cowboy Bebop is actually about music.
Yeah.
And Firefly it's more of like a mystery detective.
I would say it's like the recovery of a military. For me, it feels like Vietnam soldiers coming home and how they deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the story beats are similar, and there are musical episodes in Firefly, but it's not a show based around music.
No, but to me, the characters are the same.
Cowboy Bebop is if someone said Tell me about jazz through the lens of space opera.
All right.
That's literally what Cowboy Bebop is like. What is jazz? Okay, what medium do I have? Your medium is sci-fi. How do I talk about jazz and sci-fi? Cowboy Bebop. Because they literally, every episode's about jazz, or it's about music, or it's about like how influential like certain things is.
The most listened song I have on my computer is the Cowboy Bebop original soundtrack. Literally, I've listened to that tens of thousands of times, probably over the years.
It's really good. I mean, the thing is, like the director, he's gone on to like a lot of amazing work, and Cowboy Bebop's the thing I like the best. Maybe it's because again, it's probably nostalgia goggles. Like I like the fog out, but that's fine. Yeah, I think as far as like if you're talking about like stuff that's like Studio Ghibli, I think Howl's Moving Castle is still my favorite. I've watched like the new stuff, I've watched like Variety and all that stuff, and I'm just the Howl's Moving Castle just that one always gets me still.
It's good.
I'm watching a lot of JoJo, and I'm going through and reading Steel Ball Run again because it's my favorite. So that's never gonna get animated. He's gonna be dead by the time that thing comes out, but I don't care. That's still number one in my book. So.
Just because the original writer's not dead, or just because the original writer dies, doesn't mean they can't make it.
He's influencing the anime though. He's responsible for making sure the anime comes out right. Like he's making sure like it, because JoJo is like, it's about fashion and it's about like him expressing like his inner self. JoJo Mark 1 is him like saying, "Hey, Fist of the North Star sure was good. What if it was like a Victorian era thing? What if Kenshiro was a Victorian hero who played rugby? Okay, now he's got to fight vampires. Okay, now instead it's people fighting George Michael. Who's the other guy from Wham?
Yeah,
whatever. It's the guys from Wham, and they have to fight like underground vampires who are super immortal Titan vampires, and they have to fight the most powerful human in the world through space martial arts from the sun." Okay, what's the next one? Okay, everyone summons a ghost based on either tarot cards or music, and you're traveling around the world. Okay, what's the next one? Did
they just throw darts at a board, or what's going on?
He just comes up with something different every single time. What's the next one? It's a weird David Lynch murder mystery. What's the next one? Okay, everyone wants to be cool gangsters. What's the next one? Everyone's stuck in jail. Like, it's just whatever he wants it to be, and he's able to keep changing the format every single time. I think that's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's always different. What Steel Ball Run is like, it's an epic race story told through the lens of cowboys who also happen to have complete and total understanding of physics and use that to fight each other. Instead of using guns and six-shooters, they fight each other with physics.
Yeah. So favorite anime and manga type thing? I don't read a lot of manga, honestly. I really don't. I never liked... It's not that I couldn't read the format. It's just I got so used to my Americanized comic reading, I couldn't really transition over. And manga is short and episodic, so I just didn't have the patience to wait for another Shonen Jump to come out or whatever. But right now, there's actually a manga that caught my interest through the television show first, but I'm liking the manga more than the television show. And it's Princess Jellyfish, which is such a... I feel like such a, like, kind of a weeaboo answer on that, but it's a story about a guy who is he's like a high-end fashioned cross-dresser. So he goes into like all these high-end fashion districts, and he runs into a house full of otaku girls who are like kind of, and the otakus are ostracized from the world. They're all little nerds. He really likes them, so he's trying to help them. And he helps them establish a clothing business and helps them pull them out of the shelves. There's just something about the story. Like, normally I would like, this is the dumbest I've ever heard. But I was like super sick one day, the anime was on, and I was like, this looks dumb, I'll watch it because I need something to fall asleep. I watched the entire series in one set, and I was like, that was actually a fun story. So I gave the manga a shot, and I actually enjoyed the manga. I think I'm 9 parts in now. It's really good. Anime, stereotypical answer. Literally, it's the first 2 things I ever watched remain my 2 favorite things ever. And maybe it's just that, but I was introduced to anime. I mean, I grew up with some anime, I just didn't know it was anime. But the first real anime I was like, you need to sit down and watch this, was Akira. And that opening sequence with the music and the multi-layered animation is something we didn't get to see again in America didn't hit that level of animation technique until 5 to 8 years later. That scene with Tatsuo sliding on the bike, all that shit or whatever, and it's just...
Yeah, you keep reusing it.
Yeah, it's Americans.
Tatsuo or Kaneda, I can't remember who was on the bike, but you know what I'm talking about. And then just that whole film blew my mind. We followed that with a marathon run of the first Neon Genesis Evangelion. So I'm not talking 2, 3, 3rd, whatever, which I honestly don't like the continuations. I felt like they ran it into the ground. And the importance of that is that the director for Neon Genesis Evangelion went on to direct my favorite Godzilla film, which is Shin Godzilla. And there is actually a sequence in Shin Godzilla where they use Shin Godzilla shoots fire down on Tokyo and blows it up, and it is a direct scene lifted from the first Neon Genesis Evangelion, digitized and cleaned up.
That's pretty
And there's
awesome.
actually music in it. There are heavy themes of Neon Genesis Evangelion throughout the entire film, and the commentary is the same of what happens when God comes to Earth and decides you're done. And so instead of angels, it's literally a god reborn on Earth. Princess Jellyfish is pretty fun, and then Akira, I could watch that every single day and never get bored.
I just thought of one. Cromartie High School.
Cromartie High School. I've never got to watch all that with you.
It's just because it's so like every episode's like just weird and mimetic, and it has such weird, goofy
It has
crap.
a lot of American flair to it
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
because
yeah. It's like
there's
Penny Stocking.
yeah, like just non-stop American references. Even
If it was on Toonami, I liked it.
fair enough.
My first exposure to anime, didn't realize it was anime, Transformers.
Yeah.
That's one of my big favorites. I really like science fiction. Mecha anime is always doing it for me, so Transformers, Gundams, Evangelion, fucking...
Cyber City 808.
Yeah. No, I don't know what that is.
Wicked
Oh
City.
man, Cyber City, dude!
Hell yeah!
Oh, also, I'm gonna interrupt you for 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I thought one other one, because it is anime as far as I'm concerned, because it's done by one of the masters, Interstellar 5555, which is a
Daft Punk
hour-long
music video.
Daft Punk music video.
That's great.
But they hired one of the best classic artists. When he said the
Captain Harlock guy.
yeah. So anyway,
Name's
Nice.
up window right now. No research.
No manga. I've read no manga. The closest thing I've read to a manga is Dragon Ball Multiverse on the internet. It's not a legit canon thing or anything like that.
Did you see the one where the guy is like able to crib Toriyama's art style, and he does like if a person who's a fan of Dragon Ball got sucked into the manga and
the guy that was Yamcha?
Yeah, and he gets put into Yamcha's body.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's awesome.
I know
awesome.
of it. I haven't read it yet.
that's a great. I'm gonna have to hunt that down because I'm like, this
That's-
explains everything.
It's pretty funny.
I got a...
Because he has like all the pre-knowledge. He's like, I know when Frieza's going to come to Earth.
Oh,
I know when the
sure.
Saiyans are going to come to
Oh
Earth.
shit, yeah.
Because he gets sucked into like Dragon Ball Yamcha, like right after.
So young right after
right
the
when
breakup.
they run into her, when
Oh.
Yamcha runs into Bulma, he's like, "I gotta impress Bulma so we can date. We're not gonna break up."
And then later on, like I just saw an overview of it or whatever, but later on he decides that he's got to let Bulma and Vegeta get together so they can have Trunks.
Well, I was just going to say, because if he doesn't let Trunks happen, Mecha Freeze is going to kill all their asses.
Yeah, that was something I didn't think about.
You don't get
right
that
away,
god-awful time paradox that they have fixed until Super, which is so
You
sad.
should watch that video that got taken down from YouTube where he what's his face talks about those time paradoxes.
Well, they fixed it now. Go watch Super. They fixed it. They 100%
fixed it.
Yeah.
They fixed it. It's done. It's handled.
Do you see there's 3 green time rings and only 2 explained different
That's
time
what I'm saying.
universes?
That's what I'm saying. Listen, I'm Plague of Grapes had a video and it got taken down from YouTube by Toei, and it's the only video he has about Dragon Ball got taken down by Toei, but he points out that none of it got fixed.
Fair enough. All right, I'll have to hunt it down somehow.
It's out there.
It's out there. It's the right. Who we on? Who's on the questions? Is it back to me already?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
All right, cool.
Anime
I'm gonna keep throwing dumb questions at you guys. No, this one's nerdy. Okay, so you guys know I'm a super nerd, and this is because I used to live in New Mexico for a while, and aliens are one of my favorite things. Roswell, real or fake?
I mean, it's a place, Roswell, New Mexico. The alien portion of it, I don't know. I haven't seen aliens.
So the unidentified flying object landed in Aurora, New Mexico. And so because Aurora doesn't have a sheriff's office, it got moved to Roswell. However, I don't think it was aliens. I think it was some sort of military program.
Military cover-up.
No. I think aliens is a cover story. I think that's to throw people off. Because then if someone says aliens, then no one's going to believe them. And it's been...
UFO.
Because, it just kicks the can down the road and we don't have to say anything. And once it did,
I was at Roswell's 50th anniversary. It's one of the greatest moments ever. 500,000 people showing up in the desert in this tiny, itty-bitty little tourist trap of a town. That was amazing. And the night before the 50th anniversary, there was a humongous thunderstorm exactly like the night of Roswell. So it was bizarre because it's one of only like 8 hardcore thunderstorms they've ever had at that time of the year. And it happened to play out again. And the military base sent up a bomber into the clouds and turned out all the spotlights on the plane. And it looked like a UFO in the clouds. It was amazing. And the fact that the military, you know how hard it is to be like, I'm just going to take the plane up. And the military okayed it. So I don't know if they were going to do it beforehand or not. But
I would assume it was
for me, I think something very, very severe and important went down there. I personally believe in aliens. I don't think there were aliens there that day. But I do say is the beginning of the modern cover-up. Because you have these people like, yeah, this is totally like, we have some weird shit here. And then immediately retracting, like, yeah, it didn't happen. Like, literally just said 12 hours ago this happened. So for me, aliens, I think it's impossible for it not to be something out there, whether it's little green men. I feel that after many, many years, here's my biggest problem is we are in the golden age of videos, and go look at modern UFO videos, and everyone is so disappointed in me going like, that's nothing. So I think I've had to come to a realization that even though I want to believe, I don't think I can.
Well,
I mean, even if it was aliens,
yeah,
they did cover it up.
The prevailing theory that's going on right now that I've been able to somewhat subscribe to is this idea of an inept pilot theory, where you have people who are learning how to fly these weird devices, and they come to our world, dimension, whatever, and they're not very good at it, and so they get caught up in our dumb crap because they see like, wait, there's signs of life on this. Like now it's like, no, we know what's out there. We're not going to show up there ever again. Those guys are, listen, it's all goat farmers and red baiters. Let's just leave them alone.
Don't worry about them, they dumb.
Yeah, they already know.
Again, silly dumb questions. I've never asked you these.
It's like the first time, let's say the first time you drive out to the hills.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, how do I get to Custer State Park from here?
Yeah.
And you take some weird off-road, and your car breaks down outside of a gas station, and then they take you for a ride and tell you that you got to buy a new electrical harness for your car, and they charge you $5,000. Like, okay, we're never taking that road again.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
Makes sense. Kind of like a Paul thing.
Like a Paul thing.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite alien comedies
It's a good
ever.
comedy movie.
So what you got, Lance?
You ready?
No.
Mad Balls or Garbage Pail Kids?
Because we talked about this a little bit before, but I already knew my answer in 2 seconds. Mad Balls. Ingenious toy line. Clearly has staying power. It's been reinvented several times over. Everybody has seen one, they just don't know it. They'll be like, oh, I've seen that. The most iconic thing is, and I'm not going to explain to you, you people are literally listening to us on the internet. After our show is done, not now, when it's done, alt-tab that shit and go check out Mad Balls and look up, there's one that's a white eyeball, and that's one of the most iconic ones they ever made.
If you're driving your car, don't look up Mad Balls. Also,
don't Google it just with voice, because I am almost 100% sure you're going to get
some risque material.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm curious.
Devin or Garbage Pail Kids?
Well, when we first fielded this question at lunch, I said Garbage Pail Kids because
you can maintain. That's fine.
You can maintain. Don't change.
Yeah, I'm going to maintain because
good.
I didn't know about Mad Balls being Mad Balls. I knew them as Monster Balls, one of their reincarnations. So
Garbage Pail Kids. You know about you had an original Atom Bomb and then a dog chewed it up.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know. Atom Bomb was the.
I don't think I ever had
one
any of those.
It was the most expensive one.
Actually, I was surprised. I typed in Mad Balls. I was hoping to get something hilariously risque. You get the toy line.
Yeah, you just get Mad Balls.
Cool. Yeah, no, I had a few Garbage Pail Kids cards, but I didn't have any of the super.
I mean, they had a short relaunch.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Twitch. I was thinking about we should because we're talking about MST, whatever stuff, and
Mystery Science.
Yeah.
Stuff.
We were talking about a movie just a little bit ago, but I was thinking we should do Mars Attacks because that was another.
Oh, I love that movie.
Okay, so
this isn't mine.
I like Mars Attacks.
This isn't mine. This is my dad's.
Uh-huh.
Okay, but you know that song like "You Ought to Know by Now."
Uh-huh.
Now imagine a car like driving down the highway, but it's the aliens from Mars Attacks. And they just have big, like how expressive their eyes were, and they're just driving along. That song's playing, and they're just staring at the radio.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's going on? Because there's a part where it's like, you give me a heart attack, and they're like, and they're just so excited about just that one moment. My dad called me while he's driving down the highway one day.
Billy Idol song.
And he's like,
Not Billy Idol.
Joel?
Billy Joel.
And he's like, they're doing this, and he played out that whole scenario just like I did. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. I'm sorry. Just Mars Attacks is a beautiful goddamn film.
So we've got to release a cut of that while we release this so we can capitalize on it.
Cut it out. Cut it out.
It's original content. Do not steal.
Original content.
Don't steal.
I want that part cut out, but not the original part.
Yeah, leave Eric Braley's Mars Attacks Sonic OC alone.
Action figures of that and fucking do it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also,
we're gonna have to do that.
Garbage Pail Kids actually has been another series. They have never stopped. No, there are tens of series of this out over the last 20, 30 years.
I just remember
Tide Pod Bob. That's a new one.
I just remember 10, 12 years ago, my cousin bought like a whole bunch of them just for nostalgia purposes. He's like, "Hey, look, they had Tinities at Walmart for $1. Check it out." He's like, "I just got the tin so I can store my Magic cards." But this is
that's awesome.
Look at these things. I mean, we were just like screwing around with they basically became coasters for a little bit. But he held on to the ones they had nostalgia for. It was fine. But I think, I honestly, like, if you go between Mad Balls and Garbage Pail Kids, that's why, like, I feel like it's a hard decide because, like, they're both collectible. They're both kind of fun. They're both gross out humor. It's something like, it's in that market of like,
give you that.
It's in that market of like, you have a sister and you want to gross out your sister, or you have a girl cousin and you want to gross her out, or you want to gross your mom out. You know, it's something that you take over to your aunt's or your grandma's house. She's like, "Ew, what do you got this? Yuck!" And you're like,
"I'll just bring them Lance's baby pictures."
Yeah.
Ew, why do you got a baby? Yuck.
But that's why I never had very many because my mom wouldn't.
That's why I never got creepy crawlers. I'd sneak a pack every once in a while to get in trouble. Yeah, you make your own.
You make your own.
It's all these kids like doing the Etsy stuff. That's where this Etsy stuff came from. It's creepy crawlers.
Yeah, that's true.
What was the creepy crawlers where you made your own candy?
Oh,
Dr. Weird's.
I don't remember what
or
it's
Dr.
called.
Monster's Monster Creator or something like that.
Yeah,
Monster Masher or something.
Something like that. Yeah, you bake the eyeball and the ooze comes out.
They still have remade that even.
Yeah.
Everything's been redone.
I mean, it's better. Listen, that candy was better than what's the Yummy Nummies? It's better than Yummy Nummies.
Yummy Nummies?
You ever had Yummy Nummies?
You're saying silly words that rhyme.
No, they got like the powder and you put it in like they got different powders and you put them in the different food shaped things and you add water and then it becomes like a candy version of that food, but it tastes like.
Oh, I thought you were talking about baby bottle pops.
No, not baby bottle pop. Nah.
Yummy Nummies and baby bottle
Yummy
pops?
Nummies. Yummy Nummies that anytime you see on like the tiny Japanese food and they have like, it looks like a real hamburger, but it's the size of a penny.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
No idea.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, they're horrible.
So what you got, Devin?
Well,
your question.
Oh, it's my question.
I
It's
think
my
so.
question to field. I thought you guys were asking for my answer.
You already gave an answer.
You already gave your answer.
I don't remember.
It was the wrong
what
answer, but you gave your answer.
You said that you like Garbage Pail Kids.
That's true.
They never lie.
So
He likes Transformers.
Oh wait, did we get your answer?
Think so?
Okay.
If not,
both of you were mad. I was the only garbage.
I think
but the thing is, like, I still appreciate Garbage Pail Kids. I like Mad Balls because, like, the best part about Mad Balls is
you could throw them at them and it would actually hit people.
Well, that and, like, I've never had to buy a Mad Ball in my life because they're just everywhere.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, I could be, when I was a kid, like, you could go to a playground, someone's dumb, like, mummy Mad Ball would be hanging out there.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could go to your cousin's backyard and be like, "Is this your Frankenstein Mad Ball?" I'd be like, "No, I don't." And then,
because people
just so you
throw
know,
them at each
the
other.
originals go for like anywhere from 20 to.
I saw them everywhere.
Yeah.
When I lived in Aberdeen and Pierre, you couldn't get away from them. They'd be hanging out in a gutter somewhere and be like, "Oh, cool, we got a ball to play with for a little bit," and they're already gross. What are you gonna do? You know, just go wash your hands. Who cares? But that was also like 80s, 90s. It's nostalgia. So
yeah.
All right, Devin.
My question that I have next is favorite games. Like, it can be board games, video games, card games, whatever game you want it to be. Be a sports game.
Canasta.
Favorite board game, Dark Tower, 1980, early 1980s game.
Oh.
I don't think it's based off Stephen King's Dark Tower. It's just called Dark Tower.
It's probably not.
And it is one of the most sought after board games. It is glorious. They're going to eventually remake it here in a few years. Otherwise, video game wise, I would have to say it's so stereotypical of an answer, but Final Fantasy VII. I've played that between Final Fantasy VII, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. Those two I've literally played hundreds of times. That's not an exaggeration. I mean, literally hundreds of times. I mean, like, there's other games that I love. Magic I loved forever, but that was kind of a love-hate relationship. Dark Tower board game is something that I always loved doing.
Something pure.
It's hard for me to say favorite because, again, like, having been a toy and game collector on the professional level.
Well, yeah, that's why.
The thing. So it's
looking at all my questions would normally be easy for anybody else, but since we've been in the industry,
I should also
I'd
be remiss if I hadn't mentioned Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
My collection is 900 to 1,000 books deep.
Good Lord.
I have close to 1,000 miniatures. Each one is an individual miniature. I don't keep doubles, and that's only the new stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely gotta say D&D because I haven't even played the D&D game in almost 2 years now, and I still buy every book when it comes out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like D&D. I think that's probably, as far as stuff we've listed, that's probably on top. There are so many things about Magic that I like that the problem is that I hate it. Because, like, all the good things just get, like, torn away by, like, all the crap. It's an amazing concept. It's easy to get into. It's sellable. It's collectible. It does, like, all the things that you want a toy to do. But at the same time, I feel like the problem is that Magic is, like, the more adult version of a card game. Where, like, if you see a kid play Magic, you think it's kind of cute, and you see an adult playing Magic, and you're like, okay, well, this guy plays Magic. If you were to do that, like, with other card games, like, if you had someone who's playing Pokemon, and I'm not dissing Pokemon players, Pokemon's fine. But if you see, like, a kid playing Pokemon, you're like, okay, that's cool. This kid's playing cards. When you see an adult playing Pokemon, and they're at a tournament against a bunch of kids, you're like, like, you get kind of concerned.
Yeah.
And it's like...
I wouldn't get concerned as much as
I don't know how to describe it.
I feel bad. I'd be like, I'd be like, man, the order goes Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic as you grow up.
Right. That's
right.
I think that's kind of what I
like the trifecta should be as you grow.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But I
it's
totally support anyone who wants to play Magic or anyone who wants to play Pokemon or anyone who wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm not trying to diss on anyone who has that kind of mentality.
He just thinks that you're there for the children.
Gross. No, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like maybe it's like a socialization thing where it's like you see a certain thing and you're cued to think a certain way. You know what I mean? I don't know how to describe it.
Oh yeah.
Even in the nerd culture, we have that.
Yeah, it's like the fake geek girl bullshit that comes up every once in a while. You're like, oh, well, just because you see a girl buying a comic book doesn't mean she's a fake geek girl. It's not nice to say. And
I bet Bea would have something to say about that.
She would. She totally would.
She would give us good insight on that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So like I said, I'm not, and I don't think it's right to judge people based on that kind of stuff anyway. Like I think like whatever your thing is, that's totally cool. I totally get like the love-hate relationship with Magic. And I feel like at this point, like I'm almost at the other side of the pendulum right now. And maybe I'll swing back because that's how it always happens. Like I'm like, ooh, this is fun. And I'm like, oh, I hate it. Ugh. You know, I'm like Smeagol on that. I feel like I've been more into deck building games lately anyway, where it's been like, I like playing Ascension or I like playing DC Deck Builder or I like playing whatever thing is. All the stuff's already there. You don't have to buy it again. You buy it once and everyone's got the same cards and everyone has the same chance to win or lose. Because it's all based on like your ability to play within the realm that everyone else is playing within. I think that's more replayable than something like Magic, because Magic is you're making the plan before you even walk in the door. You've made that deck a long time ago, and now you're implementing this plan. When you're doing a deck building game, you have to make up that plan on the fly, and it's more like draft. And I guess that's what I like more about Magic than anything else. Anyways, we could do something like draft, where there's like all these cards, and you have to figure out what your deck is going to be while you're going through and seeing what the cards are. Even if you know what they are, you still have to like play within the same format as everyone else.
And it doesn't change.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's the best part.
The skill ceiling for draft, I feel like, is way higher. It's easier entry, but it's also a higher bar to get the top to in draft Magic than if you have constructed, because constructed is like you already know all the plays you're going to make versus all the decks you're going to see. And if someone throws like a weird curveball at you, you still know how you're going to react to X, Y, or Z card.
Right.
Like these are the typical plays. These are the typical cards you're going to see 9 times out of 10. And that still goes for Legacy. It still goes for Modern. It still, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what the deck is. A pre-con, I'm just not into. And I wonder, like, if Wizards really wanted to get my money for playing Magic, just play Draft Rental and you don't get the cards anymore. You just get the feeling of Draft. Or you get your money back if you do so well. Like, maybe, I don't know. But I'm just
I miss the pretty pictures on the cards.
Yeah,
I love the artwork.
I miss the varying
Commander.
I miss the varying artwork. As much as unifying artwork has been nice,
I miss collecting. You know what? I know a lot. It was unpopular, but I like Alton Empires took it a little too far. But where there were like 3 different alternate versions of the card.
Oh yeah.
Well, they kind of do that now, where they got like the rare, the alt cover
stuff.
Yeah.
But overall, what ruined Magic for me was the people more than anything else.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's a very toxic culture,
Yeah,
which was I cannot tell you, and this as I'm going to tell you guys as a shop owner, if you're like, oh, it's not toxic. We kept track of my shop every time we heard like, I don't like this game because of the people. When I closed my shop after 7 years, we had 68 people who walked away from Magic because of the toxicity of the environment of the players. And we had maybe 15 to 20 people who were like, this game's too complex, or this is a money wins game.
Yeah.
Which I do say
true.
it's
to an extent.
But this is their opinion. I'm not saying it is or isn't. But I'm saying, do you see the difference in numbers there?
I totally agree with that.
60 plus people walking away because of the people.
I agree.
And not because of the gameplay or the problem with the game rules, or maybe it just didn't click with them.
Okay, here's the deal. Every single format, every single cycle, there has been a red or green deck wins in the cycle, regardless of what the cycle has been.
Blue decks.
But I'm just saying, like, the blue decks have always been expensive. The red and green decks have typically been the less expensive deck because it's full of commons and uncommons. You can put it together for $50 to $100. You don't even have to buy buy the packs. You can just buy the cards. And you won't blow a cent.
You know he's blowing his mind right now. He's losing his mind right now. You're all wrong.
Well, you tell me I'm wrong, but I'm saying that, like, if you're saying that if money wins, I'm telling you you're wrong based on the pure concept that red deck wins, that green deck wins, that whatever. Like, you can play white weenie. Like, those have all been competitive at some level or another.
Uh-huh.
And so even then, like, money wins is I feel is a
no, and again that was
fallacy.
just
I know.
I got you, buddy.
Yeah.
I got you.
Well, I mean, it's I like how that always gets brought up is money wins, and I'm like, well, if you think that you don't like this format, then play Pauper.
Yeah,
play Pauper.
Pauper is skill wins.
Yeah,
you can assemble your deck of cards for under $20 more.
Well, you can pay a bunch of money in Pauper too if you want to.
Yeah.
But get back on track here, Devin.
Oh yeah, I suppose we're up to my answer.
Yeah. What's your favorite card game?
What is my favorite card game? I'm gonna have to go with Magic: The Gathering is the one I've played the most, probably as my favorite. But I do play Pokemon. I play Yu-Gi-Oh. I've still got a couple of decks for those, and I've got some decks for Dragon Ball Super card game. So I'm starting to try and trim down my collections. I've got 15 Commander decks. For Magic: The Gathering.
So would you say TCGs is kind of your go-to?
TCGs is probably my favorite social game. For a long time, I've been in and out of Magic like 6 times now. But when I was hardcore playing video games, World of Warcraft was my game of choice. It was between World of Warcraft and Star Wars The Old Republic, because MMOs I can just hit things and I'm fine. DPS all the way, easy street. The video game I've been playing the most recently is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, just because I love Dragon Ball. I love RPGs. I've never played any Final Fantasy game, because I've never wanted to play RPGs before. The game that got me into playing RPGs was KOTOR.
Okay, that was a good transition.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful game I didn't think would work as an RPG, and it worked wonderfully as an RPG.
Well, they just used the D20
it certainly did.
Right, but it was well done.
And that's probably why I liked it, is because it so much reminisced. Point buy system, obviously, was the huge red flag for me. I was like, what? This is like D&D. I don't think I'm going to hate this nearly as much as I thought. And it's Star Wars, so... Yeah. I was like, oh, that's Star Wars. I'll give it a shot.
Well,
Because I never liked playing racing games, and I played Star Wars Pod Racer, and I loved that game. Not the second one. The
first one's fun. Yeah,
first one's good. Second one, Pod Racer Revenge.
Guys, I'm gonna let you know, Devin's kind of more of a bombad racer.
You're not wrong. Star Wars version of Mario Kart was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it.
I like my super deformed Darth Maul.
I mean, that's the only part of the game I didn't like, is that they were
he likes super deformed Darth.
No, I don't like SD Gundam either. Shut up.
I don't know, the little Zaku's at the end.
Zaku Hour was fine.
I forgot about Zaku Hour.
I
just recap the episode.
Right?
Could they just make it that? Just make it like 5 minutes. Just make it 5 minutes. Honestly, like, okay, so I'm going to go off track for a second, but like, rather than having SD Gundam, why don't they, if they want to make Gundam for kids, just make like 5-minute bits of Zaku Hour where they just go over, like, recap episodes of Gundam, whatever.
Yeah.
And just talk about whatever episode of Gundam they want.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would watch the shit out of that.
No one has to watch Gundam Build Fighters anymore. And the world is saved.
I challenge
like Gundam Build Fighters.
No one has to watch.
I challenge that. On top of that, then they have to have an episode where they defend the Dutch Gundam from that. What was that series?
G Gundam.
G Gundam. They have to defend the Dutch Gundam because that was the most not okay thing I've ever seen.
The most not okay thing was
Windmill Gundam was pretty cool.
Which was Gundam Mexico, which was
Toro's Gundam. Was it not called Toro Gundam?
I do not believe it was
hang
called
on.
Hang on. Boy.
What?
Look up Gundam Mexico from G Gundam. You tell me what it's called.
This is
I'm
becoming
99% sure it's not called Toro's
Gundam Mexico?
These pictures should match.
So
is that a flying goddamn UFO that's shaped like a sombrero?
Yeah, that's their planet. They all have racist planets.
No, they're the sombrero.
Tequila Gundam.
Told you.
Oh, it's Tequila
Gundam.
What? Where'd I get Toro Gundam
I don't
from?
know.
I don't either.
It was called Spike Gundam in the English dub.
Yeah, sure. But it's Tequila Gundam and
that's because
Japanese.
The Japanese aren't nearly as
it's right up there with vodka drinking.
Politics,
right? Yeah,
vodka Drinkinski is in politics. That's Super Punch Out.
Hey, you should look up Bolt Gundam
Or just regular Punch Out. Punch Out Arcade.
What's
the other? Sorry, let's see. We got off track.
We got off track, but now we're going to stay off track. Look up Bolt Gundam's.
I'm not. My phone's almost dead. I gotta keep it up.
Fine, I'll do it.
He's gonna shoot it with a bullet.
But anyway,
he's gonna get his little pods out and he's gonna shoot lasers.
We're only on the third question.
Y'all need to figure out how to answer some questions.
Not built human. Gosh
darn. That's literally taking us off track more than anybody.
It's your fault.
That's true.
Laying the rails for Crazyville. Anyways,
Gundam
who's up?
Pilot. It's still me.
He's gonna answer
I'm still answering my own question.
First he's gonna tell you this Gundam question that he wants to answer, and then he's gonna answer your question about his favorite board game. Hey there, this is Lance Dunwoody with Devin, Dane, Dunwoody. Thank you for listening to our first podcast. I broke this up into 2 phases, and we're going to get back to the topic on hand with Devin's favorite board game next week. And then that will be the end of our discussion of what our overall interests are, and we will get into what our plans are for the next podcast. So hopefully this was interesting and exciting for you. Things are going to change up. We're going to be more on topic and have more direct, specific things that we're going to discuss as time goes on. So this is going to, these 2 first episodes are going to be a little bit more scattershot, just because we're trying to get into the feel for what it is that we're trying to record. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, all those great things wherever this is posted. We'll see you next week with Devin, Dane, Dunwoody. Thanks again.